triathlete for Great Britain. As a world champion and Paralympic triathlete, I wanted to tell the world some of the stories behind the people and the personalities I have met throughout my 9 years in the sport. With the Paralympic Games around the corner, now seems the perfect time to get to know some of the para-triathletes who will be going for gold in Tokyo. And today, I'll be going beyond with Canada's Stefan Daniel. The current PTS5 men's world champion, Stefan is on a winning streak, reaching back to July 2018, that has included grand final wins in Gold Coast and Lausanne. It was back in 2013 that he was on the start line at his first world champs, taking bronze at just age 16. At Rio 2016, he won a Paralympic silver medal and has now set his sights for more success this year in Milan and Tokyo. So my first question is, you were born with bilateral radius club hands, where your right arm is shorter than your left. But from what I've read, you've never seen yourself as disabled. And I think if everyone was to see how successful your triathlon career has been, they would see that you're just, leading the world in the PTS5 category. How was life as a youngster? Have you always loved sport? Did you have a role model? Could you talk to us a bit about your journey into sport?
Yeah, no, I started with swimming when I was 8, and my brother, who has cerebral palsy, joined, and he was 12 at the time. I remember, I think when I first started, it was pretty frustrating swimming against my able-bodied peers, and they'd all be faster initially, even though I'd work harder and all that type of stuff. And it was tough for me, but I think what kept me in sport is actually my brother, who cerebral palsy is obviously affects you more in the water, but he would work as hard as he could every day, and he would always have a smile on his face. He didn't care about what anybody else did in the water, and I think that rubbed off on me. And he just did the best with what he had, and that's kind of why I've been able to have success to this day. Is just because I don't see myself as a athlete with a disability. I just see myself as an athlete.
Okay, that's amazing. And I guess having a brother there with you doing sport also is encouraging. Did your family do a lot of sport?
Yeah, my dad was an Ironman triathlete. My mom did a lot of running when I was growing up. My brother was a competitive swimmer until 2012, and then my cousin's a high-level cyclist, and I have another cousin who's a hockey player. So we have a lot of athletes in the family. So it's nice to have them around for sure. Yeah.
No pressure at all.
No.
And obviously, you said that you were a swimmer. What made you decide to switch between swimming and then to triathlon? Was there a reason?
Well, I don't know. I saw my dad compete at Ironman when I was 8. So initially, I wasn't interested in doing an Ironman or anything like that, but I was aware of the sport. And then growing up, I always did local road races, usually with my mom. I really enjoyed running as well, but swimming was the focus. And then it was when it was announced, I did triathlons on the side. I did a local Kids of Steel race every year, so I was kind of doing it. And then when it was announced that triathlon would be in the Paralympic Games, that's when I kind of made the full-on switch to the sport, because I thought, this would be cool, because I've always wanted to go to Paralympics, but I always assumed that I'd have to give up my running, and now I don't have to do that. So it was worked out well.
That's amazing. And I've read that you were 16 when you won your first World Triathlon Championships in 2013. You got a bronze medal?
Yeah.
You said that in 2013 you decided to do triathlon. So you had a couple of years there where did you just sort of train and hope to qualify?
Yeah, well, I was always really active swimmer, and then I joined a track team as well, pretty young. So I had the swim and the run background, but I would only ride recreationally, so I wasn't really training. So that was 2013 was probably my first year of actually doing triathlon training. So I was lucky to have success pretty early, but I definitely had the background going into it, so it made the transition pretty easy.
Yeah, and how was it being so young, suddenly going and actually making the podium at a World Championships?
Yeah, no, the whole week there was crazy. I remember just being obviously I was focused on my race. I remember just being so starstruck. I'd walk around and seeing the Brownlees race, and I thought that was just the coolest thing. Honestly, I was more concerned about their race than my own, but I just remember that experience. Having that really young was really cool. I was nervous, so nervous for my race, obviously being that young, being on the world stage, but having that experience at a young age, just makes me more comfortable now with it, since I've had a lot of pressure-filled races. It was just cool to have that at such a early age, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And we obviously then saw you go on to get a silver medal in Rio. with obviously such all these years, you're learning so much. As you said, you were such a young athlete. You must have been going from strength to strength. How did you feel coming in behind Martin and getting the silver, like so close yet so far away? Did it give you like an extra fire in your belly?
Yeah, no, like definitely I wanted to win in Rio, like winning world championships the year before. So that was obviously the goal. But Martin was just better than me on the day. Like I, trained well going in, and I, gave everything I had on the day, and it just wasn't meant to be. So, and I think I came off the bike in like fifth or so place, and I had to run myself and really earn that silver medal. So, it wasn't like I lost the gold. I think I won the silver more so. So, but definitely, like I think that fueled the fire, and I definitely want to try to win in Tokyo. But it's kind of cool that like paratriathlon's getting more competitive every year. Like, now George Pisagood's really, really strong as a gold medal threat, and you've got guys coming out every year. So I know it's going to be tough, but obviously that's the goal, to try to win.
Yeah, of course. And I've got here that 4 times world champion in 15, 17, 18 and 19. And you just said it yourself, paratriathlon is getting so much stronger. How have you seen, because obviously being so young and now being a mature athlete that's going for his second Paralympics, how has paratriathlon changed for you over those years?
Well, I think it's just, a lot more supported. Like you'll see a lot more people coming out to the races. You'll see way more athletes across, all the different categories. A lot coming from other sports, usually swimming or athletics, so where they have really, really impressive times. And they're really good athletes. So it's, it's kind of cool to see it grow. And I think that, in another 4 years, it might be like one of the most competitive sports in the Paralympic Games. We'll see. But, it's just been cool to see the growth of it. And I'm still young. And I know I'll be in the sport long enough to see it grow, a lot more even.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I can tell you one cool fact is, because I normally start like a minute behind you guys, I'm normally coming back round for my second lap to finish. And I hear on the speaker as to whether it's going to be you, Schultz, or who's there. So I normally hear you cross the line actually and know that, oh, he's finished and I've still got another 2.5K to go. But yeah, so I always hear your name come out, which is quite cool. And you also now do able-bodied events, which I thought was really fascinating. I've done a couple myself and I enjoy it because I guess it's a challenge of like, for a start, drafting and stuff like that on the bike. What made you do some able-bodied racing? And you were quite successful.
Yeah, no, I think, again, that was just like the influence of my brother. I had that kind of at an early age where I just didn't see myself as having a disability. So I was never scared to try able-bodied racing, even though I'm at an advantage or I'm at a disadvantage. Like it's obvious, but I never was scared to try it. And, my running was strong enough where I knew that if I was able to get in a decent bike group and like in the draft legal stuff, that I could do well. And, luckily I've had some good races where it's all kind of panned out for me. But again, that was just from early age, seeing myself as an athlete. And, I've been able to have some success in triathlon able-bodied as well as like running, like cross-country stuff as well. So I think it's been cool to be able to do both for sure.
Yeah, no, I think it's impressive. And I think I've read some stuff as well that you do quite a bit of work and you're quite vocal about people putting you in a box as disabled. Do you feel that actually the Paralympic movement and paratriathlon is going in the correct way when it comes to disability and able-bodied racing and training?
I think so. Yeah, I think that like some of the athletes have, there's a lot of different disabilities and stuff, but I think everybody, nobody uses it as an excuse anymore. It's everyone just kind of maximizes their own performance. And, parasport's never going to be perfect. There's like too big of a range of disabilities, but I think everybody does the best with what they have. And I think that's, what parasport should be all about.
Definitely. I find it inspiring sometimes to see some of the disabilities and actually what the human mind can overcome. I've seen some disabilities. There was one guy at Europeans a while back that was a quadruple amputee and he was riding a normal road bike. And I just thought, there's me worrying about my gear changes. And I have one hand. This guy's changing gears with no hands. Like if only everyone else could see that. It's really inspiring. So I want to go on to that now is, obviously with your training, most people know what it takes, to be a triathlete. You've got swim, bike, run, you've got the fourth discipline of, training your transitions. Could you talk us through a bit about if you have any adaptations because of your disabilities and if you've had to train slightly differently to create balance or anything?
Yeah, no, the only main adaptation I have is like on my bike, obviously. My one aero bar is, a bit pulled closer and it's a bit shorter so I can reach and get arrow and stuff. the pads are maybe a bit built up on the right side just because I have less muscle mass on my right side. But other than that, I've, been able to train pretty normally. The swimming, I'll be the same, just a little bit, slower than I would be. And the running, maybe I have a bit of momentum change between, the two arms. But, generally I've been able to train pretty normally. But luckily I had some bike adaptations when I started that, made biking comfortable and, achievable, I guess.
Yeah, of course. And within the swimming, do you adapt your wetsuit, or is that a pretty simple, just normal wetsuit?
Right. Yeah. No, I have like a little bit of an adaptation. So they kind of cut it a bit short, and then they sew it so it's a bit tighter, just because, much smaller right arm, just so it's nice and tight against the arm. But yeah, I guess that's the one adaptation. And then, yeah, no, the rest is all normal. Like I don't have anything different as transition or anything like that, but yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And then just because I've been speaking to obviously some other guys with different disabilities, and imbalance on the run has been something that's come up quite a bit. Is there anything I obviously am missing a bit of an arm. Yours isn't fully developed. So do you do anything that actually matches the momentum you mentioned earlier?
I think I don't know. It's just I've been running for like such a long time that I've kind of forgot about it. Like I don't really notice it too much, but maybe I've just kind of adapted and to the point where I don't notice anything different. But it's definitely there, but I'm not sure exactly how I compensate, but I've managed to do it. So yeah.
Yeah. And could you just tell everybody actually what is your fastest 5K run split off the bike? Because I think they'll all be amazed at how fast you run.
I think it's around like maybe 15 minutes, maybe a little bit under. Every course is different, but I think around there, yeah.
Crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I think it's amazing. And it was something that I was talking to with the British head coach, Johnny, and he was just saying he doesn't think that people realize quite how fast and how powerful some of the para athletes are. Like just watching you run is inspiring. So yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Obviously we've been in lockdown. How has lockdown been for you? Has it affected training? How's Canada done? Are the pools open? Have you been able to train?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of hit or miss. Like last summer, things were kind of back to normal, but we're kind of in a second wave right now where pools have been closed for a long time, which has been really tough, but I think it's starting to get better again. So, I think athletes are going to be allowed to train soon here, but it's been challenging, but I've just been trying to focus on what I can focus on. Like I've been riding a bit more and, running and stuff like that, more than I normally would.
Yeah.
But it's been challenging, as every athlete I'm sure has their challenges in the countries they're in. But it's been tough, but I've just been trying to make do as best I can.
Yeah, no, definitely. Been Zwifting a lot, because that seems to be the common thing with everyone.
Yeah, no, it's good that you can like race and kind of to feel your competitive fire a bit on there. But yeah, definitely spending a lot of time on Zwift.
Yeah, no, you're going to get out on the road and be like, wow, this is amazing. I went out last week and fell off. So it just shows you that actually I've done too much indoor riding. But yeah, it's going to be great. And obviously Milan is just around the corner. Have you got any plans for that? Have you got your eyes set on the shiny gold, or?
Yeah, hopefully. Obviously Tokyo is the main goal, but obviously, it'd be awesome to get another world title. But yeah, we'll see. Like, hopefully the race goes ahead. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, full steam ahead, just training for that one.
No, that's super exciting. I'm very excited to see. As you said earlier, you've got such fierce competition now. I'm super excited to see all you guys race. And you mentioned earlier that you're studying.
Yeah.
What are you studying?
I'm taking business at the University of Calgary, where I'm from. So, in my third year out of 4 there. So slowly plugging away, and hopefully I'll graduate in a couple of years. But yeah.
And what's the plan with the business degree?
I don't know yet. So I'm just saying like a general degree, and then hopefully maybe after Tokyo I'll give some more thought into it, what I want to do after sport. But just trying to slowly plug away through school so that when I do retire from sport, I'll have something to work on after that.
Definitely. And you must have the most impeccable time management at the moment to hold down 3 sports and a uni degree. How is your time management?
It's challenging, especially now with like online school. It's been really, really tough, but I've been managing okay. I know it won't, the online school won't last forever, but it's been tough for sure, and just trying to do the best I can.
Oh no, amazing. And kind of my final question is, could you please tell us about, I guess, the highlights so far of your whole career, and what's been the toughest point in your career?
I think that, that's tough. I think the highlight would probably be Chicago World Championships. Winning the first one is always really cool, and I think that being able to qualify for Rio at when I was qualifying at 18 was pretty cool for sure. I think that was probably the highlight. The lowest point, I think, would probably be the Rio test event. I remember my bottle cage got shot out of my bike like 10 meters into the bike ride.
Oh, no.
So I did the whole bike without any like fluids, and then that run was pretty ugly and didn't have a great race. But luckily, I went better the next year. But yeah, no, that was tough for sure.
Yeah, I guess you learned from on to always check that your bottle cage is tight. So
yeah, we strap it with the tape. Yeah.
That bit. And also grassroots within Canada and para-triathlon. Have you got any up-and-coming guys within Canadian para-triathlon? Well,
we've kind of seen like some new athletes come out. There's actually been, some interest in like guiding now. Like you're seeing some new athletes coming to train with, like Jess and stuff. Because they're interested in, helping out in any way they can. And, it seems like the team's a lot different than it was in 2016. We have a bunch of new athletes that are, a lot of them are coming into their first Paralympic Games, and, some of them that are still developing and more are aimed at 2024. But yeah, it's definitely growing, and hopefully in a few years we'll have a bit of a bigger team. But yeah, definitely getting bigger here for sure.
Yeah, and you'll become the grandpa of the team because you've been there the longest.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. That's amazing to hear. I'm all for getting disabilities of any types into sport, especially para-triathlon, because I just think it's such an amazing platform across having swim, bike and run. And it's not easy, like, what some people have to overcome within the sports. But I think if we can make it more accessible and the classification system, it's more in depth, and it's, I guess, fair is not the right word, but it's more specific. That can only help encourage more people to get involved. Sure. And I've definitely seen, because 2013 London was my first World Champs as well, so we would have been there at the same time, and I've seen it change massively. And I actually think I'm the longest standing in our team now, so I feel old.
Yeah.
Fine. Stefan, thank you so much for coming on and chatting to us. We wish you the best of luck in Milan, and we'll be cheering for you in Tokyo.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on.